Alright, let's get started with the login page. So to access Education City, you're going to want to go to ec2.educationcity.com. Once you're there, you'll see the login. Go ahead and put in the username and password that you were given by a Summit staff member. We're going to do summit.test.student, go into our student account, and we are in. Okay, so a little bit about what we see here. Education City is a great place for supplemental practice in language arts, math, and science. So that's mostly where we're going to live, is toggling back and forth between these different categories here. So in language arts, we can filter between kindergarten and 5th grade content. And you can see if you click on a grade level, there's a variety of different types of activities and lessons and things that you can access. If I want to go back home, click on home, and I can switch and also take a look at math. So for 4th grade math, I could click on 4th grade, and there's all the things available for my 4th grade student to work on if they want to practice some math activities. And finally, we also have science. Click on 2nd grade, you can see all the 2nd grade activities. So you can search between whatever grade level your student is, and click on it and explore just kind of what's available. We're going to learn more about what each type of these activities mean or how to use them. But for now, I just want to give you kind of an overall structure. So besides looking by grade level, we can also search by content. So I like this one up here. If, for example, you're happen to be doing a week-long study on the moon, different phases of the moon, some astronomy, you might want to come into Education City and look for content on the moon. It'll then bring up every lesson. It'll tell you what grade levels. Science 1st grade has moon phases. Science 5th grade has moon phases. And you could find anything that might relate to what you're already working on about the moon. So there might be some good stuff for math or science or language arts that complement what you're doing in the main curriculum anyway. So again, think of Education City as a great supplemental tool to what you're already doing with your student. All right, let's go back to the home page. So we got language arts, math, and science. Let's take a look a little closer about what each type of activity is and how you may want to use it. So we're going to go back to 3rd grade language arts. We have activities, topic tools, tests, learn screens, play live, and think it's. Activities, these are 10-minute timed graded practice activities, and they're all oriented around a game. So if I click on activities for my 3rd grade language arts, I can see a wide variety of games that all work on different skills. I'm looking at all of them right now, but I can also toggle between, do I want to work on reading, literature skills? Do I want to work on language skills? Look on informational text. I can filter the different types of games that I can play here. So let's go ahead and look at twin topics. There's a lot about comparing and contrasting as far as Oregon state standards. So let's take a look at this game and just see what a game is like. I can print out the activity sheet if I want to have my student be able to write and follow along with what's happening, or we can just go in and play. Now you won't be able to hear the volume of the game, but at least you'll get an idea of what's happening in this game or what a game looks like. So right now I'm given an audio introduction. I'm being talked about working in pairs and interesting projects. Usually they kind of give kind of a story scenario. Again, this gets the students interested. There's some problem, there's some story, something keeping them engaged as they're playing the game. So I'm going to go ahead and skip past that and let's go ahead and start. So every game always has stuff to read, but then it's always audio to accompaniment. So they're reading all this aloud to me as well. So it's good for both students that like to read, but students that need that auditory support as well. And they're giving me an example about comparing and contrasting right now. So for the student, it's like a mini 1 or 2 minute lesson, helping him to think about, well, what is comparing and contrasting, and an example about how it works. So I'm going to go ahead and skip the intro here. I'm given directions. Looks like I'm going to have 3 questions. It's timed for 10 minutes. And my score right now is 0, but we'll see how my score is as I go through the 3 questions. Right now, I'm reading the 2 different passages. I'm reading the first one on the Lincoln Memorial. I've got 7 pages to read through, so I'm going to look at page 2. And we're just going to click on all 7 pages. And there we go, we finished that one. All right, let's take a look at the other text. We got to compare and contrast, right? So now let's read all 7 pages of the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. All right, so we're done reading. Now I'm given almost like a little Venn diagram, but a circle here, and I'm asked to pick which ones were related just to the Lincoln Memorial. So the Lincoln, I'm going to click on this one. And Lincoln was the 16th president. Statue sitting on the chair. I'm going to try these 4. These 4 are related to President Lincoln. So I'm thinking they're found in the Lincoln Memorial. Whoops, and apparently I got 3 right, but I missed this one. This one was not in the reading for the Lincoln Memorial. So I'm going to pull it out and leave those 3 in. Let's try this one. So as any activity, what's nice is even if students miss a question, it gives them an opportunity to redo it, and it helps explain maybe why they missed it and what the answer should be. So even missing problems, they get feedback to help make it a learning experience. It's not just right or wrong, but it's trying to engage them into thinking about the question. All right, so there's an example of a lesson on reading and thinking about what we're reading. So let's go ahead and exit out. And we're going to close that out. Go back to Language Arts 3rd grade. So again, activities are graded. They're designed for practice. They're timed. They keep track of your score and save it. It's a great way to assess, get a little bit of review, but assess how well your students are knowing about a topic. Topic tools. So this category is great. They're learning tools, but they're not graded. They're not questions that they're answering. They're just tools. So you can look through here. Maybe I want my students to practice organizing paragraphs. Or maybe I want to think about doing a story. So here's a story spinner where I can get a story starter. So these are all tools to help you as you're working with your student to practice skills. But these are not graded, they're not timed, and you can just come in and filter and find a tool that maybe fits with what your student is learning for that day. Tests. Tests are a bigger assessment, a diagnostic tool to see, okay, we've been doing Education City for a while. How are you doing? We can take a full test for that 3rd grade language arts, or you can break it down into little shorter tests. What's nice about tests is although they're bigger, so you might take like an hour and a half for your student to work through them, they give you an idea about how well you're doing. So you might take a test every quarter, every few months, just to see are we progressing. But then it assigns some activities for your student to practice based on how they did on the test. So it's a great way. I'll show you later on a test review and the activities prescribed. Learn screens. Learn screens are activities, but with a much longer learning experience in front of it. So instead of a quick 1-minute introduction to the concept, you might do a 5 or 6 minute activity where they're watching a video being introduced to some concept, and then after that, having to practice it in some sort of activity. So these are also graded, but they're longer, designed to be a little bit more thorough and teaching through an idea. Play Live lets students interact with other students, all doing Education City around the United States. And finally, Think It's. This is a great little tool if you need a quick warm-up or a closing activity starting or ending your day. But think of it as like a little brainstorming activity. So I can come up here, I can filter through whatever grade level I want. Language arts, whatever topic I want, go to language arts. And I can browse, let's say tongue twisters. That might be kind of fun. Let's click on this one. So once it loads up, you're given a question, a prompt. How many times can you say this tongue twister without tripping over your tongue? I'm not even going to attempt to read it, but it's something for your students to do. And the answer is you're thinking about tongue twisters. You're thinking about combinations of letters to form words that are trickier to say. So it's getting students to think about language and how words are put together. But again, there's nothing to answer. In fact, it may just be a quick thinking prompt that gives you some dialogue with your student. Okay, those are the different activity types. You can see they change. If I click on kindergarten, there's no tests. Usually tests don't happen until 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade, but you have stuff on letters and sounds. So you can each grade level has its own different activity types available or not available in the grade level. And then if I click on home, you can see as well. And in math, there's also different activity types that I can filter through and look at for each grade level. Okay, so lots of activities related by grade level, related by topic in each content area. Let's take a look at some of the options down here. So my revision, if a student takes a test, this is where they would go to review the test. You can see I took one. I took the math quick test for 3rd grade and I got a 73%. So if I click on that, I can give them some more information when I took the test, and I can see some tasks that were assigned in response to how I did on the test. I'm going to revise, I'm going to see how I did. Here's the different tasks. Notice these are all specific activities that have been assigned to me. And what you might do is have your student take a test. They have these tasks assigned. Have your student work through them, review them, keep practicing them until they get them all checked and little gold medal. And then once they've gone through all these activities, come back and do a second attempt at this math quick test and see if they improved. So it's a great way, do a before practice, targeted practice, and then come back and do a quick check. So that's all under my revision is tests and how they did on tests and the prescription after the test. For all work, you can see under my success, this is where students can see how well they did in any category. You're not going to have any classwork or homework. That's not how we use it at Summit Learning Charter. But for anything that you pick and choose to do in language arts, math, or science, you can come and see how you did. I did the 3rd grade lesson Animal Rescue, and I got 100%. So it's kind of nice to be able to look back and see what I did or what I didn't do. If I didn't do very well on something, I can come back and I can play it again when I feel ready, or if I want to practice that concept again. And it helps me review and practice again concepts. Okay, hopefully this is a helpful introduction to you guys for Education City. And as you get started this school year with your student, again, Education City is a great supplemental tool to use in conjunction with what you're already doing for your main core curriculum with your student. All right, if you have any questions, please contact a Summit staff member. We'd love to work with you to help you develop and implement Education City and part of your day-to-day routine.